Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be doing some work on the hot rod. So it's finally time to kind of finish up the floor. Most of the factory floor was pretty good, but now I've got things squared away. I need to figure out a transmission tunnel. So I'm sort of cheating a little bit. I started using the some of the floor from the original donor vehicle. And basically we are going to try to trim that to fit and then add a little bit of extra sheet metal to try to fill in the gaps. So what I've done, I took this section out of the S10 Blazer. This is it's actually flipped around backwards. This is kind of where the drive shaft lived. I think the U-joint was probably around there. That went up for the back seat, but I thought the shape was good enough, so we flipped it around, and then I cut a hole for the shifter. So what we're going to probably do, I'm going to cut this along this line, and then right there, and then depending on how it goes, I'll probably kind of make some bits to raise it up just a little bit. If it sits nice how it is, I might just leave it to the floor, and then I need to fill in the back up to here, and then I've got to fill in the front. So I'm going to get this trimmed out, and then we'll get it mocked in again. So there we go. This is the part I wanted out of it. There's obviously not too much left, but the rest of what I'm going to do, I'm just going to build myself. And that's the rest of it. Don't need any of that. We can actually now cut that up to scrap. So this is going to be our tunnel. It is definitely not going to sit on the floor. We're going to probably have it up about this high. I need to figure out some of that. But basically I want it to clear that linkage right there and clear the other side of the shifter. And then we're going to make some rampy bits that go from there and then hook over here. That will give me a good place to screw to secure it. And then same with up here and up at that little angle bit. And then ignore my wires, I'll be taking care of those at some point. But basically I got to figure out a way of holding this like so. I might end up just throwing a 2x4 across it or something. And then we're going to use some cardboard and kind of lay out some designs. So there we go, templates made up using some cardboard. I'm leaving these kind of loose, and I'm going to trim it with the steel later on. It's really not the best way, but I'm out of the paper stock, and I don't have anything big enough. So I'm using corrugated stuff, which doesn't bend quite well. So basically I've got 4 pieces kind of roughed in. I've got this side, that front bit, and then the opposites. These two are mirror images of one another. These two are not, because this isn't symmetric. I did also make the rear, and you can see just how asymmetric it is. It kind of sticks out a little longer on this side. But I already cut that and then tacked that in place, because that's supporting the back end of this. The front end is just being held up by a chunk of 2x4, if you can see that. But this is pretty good. The other one's pretty good. Those two are going to need some massaging. We'll see what happens. Alright, so now that I've got that ready to go, I'm going to take those parts off and transfer them over to some sheet metal. Guys, so I made a little bit of progress. Obviously you saw I got those cut out and folded in the brake. So I started assembling, and it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do right here as far as how to secure this. I tried drilling and tapping. I tried using one of those self-drilling tapping all-in-one bits, and because of the angle, because I'm right next to the floor, it just snapped. Then I thought I was going to use some riv nuts, and so I went out, I bought some 1032 screws and was going to put some 1032 riv nuts in the holes, and then I realized because of the angle the riv nut tool won't fit. So then I kept scrounging around, looked through my stash, and found these little self-tappers, little self-tapping drilling guys. They're pretty good size, and they've got a rubber seal on the end. So that's nice. So I drilled the hole, and it was just about the right size. They finished it up and then tapped their own hole, went straight in, no issues. The little lip right here that they're going into is 1/8 inch angle iron, so there's plenty of meat there. So yeah, we got that in. I probably saw me tack this in already. Now I just made the other bits. So the front half that actually goes to the firewall, that's currently bolted to a different set of angle iron brackets on the firewall. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is basically just tack weld those together, start massaging it, start finish welding, try to make it a little bit cohesive. And then we're going to build a nice little box to go mount a shifter boot. That part I'm excited about because that'll at least hopefully look pretty good. So, got a bunch of tacks put in, got that front tunnel section kind of hammered down to match the original tunnel. So now what we got to do is basically now I can take it out, and then we can do the remainder of the work on the workbench. That way I'm not kind of stuck next to the steering wheel and all that stuff. So got to pop the, I guess it's 10 bolts out, and then get it on the bench. Alright guys, there we go, all welded up. Just kept tacking in a bunch of places and sort of bridging those tacks together. Got the whole thing done, hammered along, and then was able to at least run a couple proper beads right there. So this should all still line up. I don't think anything shifted too bad. So basically all we gotta do now is take this, put it back in the truck, and then we can start working on our little gauge or shifter pedestal that's going to come out of that hole. So I've started making a little cardboard template of the random quadrilateral that is the shifter opening. The reason it's kind of weird is mostly I needed a pointy bit right there because of the shift rods. So the rest of this is kind of freeform. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a Sharpie, or a Milwaukee permanent marker, and I'm going to trace along the bottom here, and that's going to give us the shape for the bottom. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.